What's going on, and welcome back to this video. Today we're going to put ourselves in the shoes of an investigator one more time. If you remember, in the previous video we talked about open source intelligence tools and techniques, and we covered case studies. Today's video we will take another case study and we will solve this room from TryHackMe. The room's name is WebOSINT and it is a free room. Okay, so for those who are new to the OSINT and they don't know what is OSINT, check out my very recent video. I'm gonna put this in the video description and you can find it on the right of the video here. We can find it on the right. Click on the card and you'll be able to watch it. Okay, so what do we have on here? Usually in an open source investigation, we are given a hint or we're given a piece of info about the target. Sometimes it is a domain name, sometimes it's a full name, other times it is an email address. Today's hint is a domain name. So we're given this domain name, republiccoffee.com. We need to start digging and find as much information as we can about the owners, the email addresses, so on and so forth. Okay, so we're given a domain name. What's the first thing we're gonna have to do? We're gonna have to extract DNS information. Extracting DNS information, including extracting information such as the IP address, the registrant company, the email address of the owner, etc. To do that, what we can do, we can use command line tools in Linux operating system, or we can use GUI tools, which I'm gonna show you. Okay. So what do we have here? Let me run the search again. Who's and the domain name we got, in this case it is this domain name. Alright, running whois on the domain name, we can see this output. Okay, so what do we have? The domain name, we have the registry domain ID and other information. What is interesting for us is the identifying information, the information that can lead us to the identity of the owners. Now, not all the time you can get this from one command. You have to run a series of commands, series of searches to be able to get to the identity or to get to who owns the domain name. Additionally, companies and owners of domain names usually use privacy protection, meaning they mask or they redact the personally identifying information that would lead to their identity. It's a feature that you can pay for when you register a domain name. They offer it to you at a trivial price. We're actually, as you can see here, there are only limited information about the domain name. We only are given the registrar, where the domain name was purchased first, and we're given the creation date, the update date, but we cannot see identifying information about who owns the domain name. That's because, understandably, it has privacy protection enabled. So, if you go to task 2 questions, what's the name of the company the domain was registered with? So, the name of the company that was where the domain was registered, it is called the registrar. The registrar name here is Namecheap Incorporation. What phone number is listed for the registration company? Beside the registration company, we can see the associated phone number we can use to contact the registrar, not the domain name or the owner of the domain name. Okay, if you are new to this, you will need to make a difference between the owners of the domain and the registrar. The registrar is the company who actually sold the domain to the owners here. So that's the phone number belongs to the company who sold the domain. And what is the first name server for the site? Okay, now name servers can also be found here. We highlight these 2 fields, name server. We've got 2 name servers. Usually name servers, when you first purchase a domain name, they point to the same name servers that belong to the registrar, Namecheap. But here we see different name servers. That's because the website might be hosted somewhere else. Hosting is the place where you actually build your site and store its contents. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same place where you bought the domain, although it can be. So here it is actually pointing to a different domain name than the actual name cheap, the company who sold the domain name. So these are the name servers where the website is hosted and stored. What is listed for the name of the registrant? All right, let's scroll down. If we scroll down, we see more information related to the context of our investigation. You can see here the registrant geographical data is revealed, and the country is IS, which is the code for Iceland. That's the country of the registrant, and this is the, as you can see, the admin name. The admin name is the name of the person who manages the domain name, aka the person who bought the domain name. Redacted for privacy. Okay, but we got the phone number. Their phone number is listed. So the name, the country is Iceland. Ghosts of websites, task 3. Okay, so here we get to play with what is called as archive. It is the Wayback Machine. The Wayback Machine is a website that allows you to view the past occurrences or the history of the websites by showing snapshots of how the website looked like throughout different points in time. So if you go to archive, the Wayback Machine, domain name we're given is actually the same domain name. It is scrolling up. So that's the Wayback Machine. In Wayback Machine, again, we can see the history of the domain name, meaning we can see if there was actually a website hosted on that domain name, even though if it doesn't exist at the moment. Okay, we can still go back in time and see how the website looked like previously throughout the years, throughout the months. So in your archive, or the Wayback Machine does that by regularly taking snapshots, okay, of the website. So let's enter the website name and start the investigation. We can see Wayback Machine has taken many snapshots. In 2016, we have a couple ones, and we have many snapshots in the last 4 years. So what's the question? What's the first name of the blog's author? Right. So if you take a look at the first snapshot in 2015, that's the first snapshot Wayback Machine has taken for the website. It could be that it is the first occurrence or the first appearance of the site on the net. Let's take a look at this snapshot and see if there was actually content here. Yeah, so there was an actual content, Republic of Coffee, and we can see the various blog posts published at the time. We can still take a look at every single post and start reading to be able to extract as much information as possible and connect the dots based on the context. So what's the name of the blog author? We can find the blog author by clicking on any post. And you can see the blog author is here, Steve, along with the date. So this post was published on June 26, 2015. What city and country was the author writing from? And what's the name in English of the temple inside the national park the author frequently visits? These two questions can be answered by reading through the posts. Specifically, you're going to have to actually visit this post, this one. Okay, reading through the first paragraph. On occasion, I found myself having meetings in the Muding San National Park area of Juangju. On these occasions, I typically set the meeting place as the Starbucks there. It has a small dedicated parking area and several floors of seating, including the rooftop with gorgeous views of the surrounding area. So this one is actually telling you that the author here usually has meetings in the national park area of Juwonju. So going back to the question, what city and country was the author writing from? It is Juwonju, which happens to be in South Korea. How do you find out? You just Google the name of the city, and Google will tell you that the city is in South Korea. What's the name of the temple inside the national park the author frequently visits? Same here. The author goes to that location to have meetings. Okay, if we Google this, and write temple, it will reveal that there is indeed a temple in that location. So Myeongsan National Park, aka Jungsima Temple, if I'm pronouncing this correctly in South Korean. So that's the answer for this question. Digging into DNS, here we get to extract information about the domain name using its DNS records. While we already did that using Whois, there are still other tools we can use that can reveal much more information than what Whois would reveal. So we go to view.dns. Okay, in view.dns, we've got more than just a couple tools that will actually reveal who is the owner of the domain. We've got tools that show us the history of the IP assigned, or the IP addresses that were assigned to the domain name. We can also perform reverse IP lookup. We can ping the domain name. We can do firewall tests. We can find out if the website is really down. The location finder of the IP, port scanner, many network tools that you can use in your OSINT investigation. Okay, so what was Republic of Coffee's IP address as of October 2016? So we need to take a look at the history of the IP addresses assigned to Republic Coffee. For example, we go to IP history and we type the domain name that we are interested in to reveal the history of IP addresses assigned. So what does that mean? It means we are finding out what are the IP addresses that were assigned to the domain name throughout the different courses or throughout the years. This way we can see how many registrars or how many web hostings the website has changed throughout the years. So scrolling down, we can see it all started in 2016. Okay, and then we can see all the following years. Now, what does that mean? It means that either the owners of the site have been changing the web hostings frequently, or the web hostings that the owners are using, they change the servers on a regular basis for maintenance, maybe. Okay, so it all starts here. Now the question, it is telling us to find the IP address on October 2016. So 2016 October, it is this IP address. That was the IP address of the server. Based on the other domains hosted on the same IP address, what kind of hosting service can we safely assume our target uses? So if we have a look at this IP address and we do reverse IP lookup, okay, so we can see many domain names revealed upon looking up this IP address. What does that mean? Is it possible that many domain names have the same IP address? It is possible. What does that mean? It means that these domain names, despite the fact that they may not be connected in some manner, in somehow they may not be connected, meaning the owners of these domain names are definitely not the same person or the same entity. but they share the same IP address due to the fact they are using the same hosting. Okay, so, and the hosting company is using a separate server to house all these sites. So it's called shared hosting. Shared hosting is when you have multiple websites on the same server. So it is shared hosting. Taking off the training wheels. Right, so now we have a different domain name to investigate. So let's pull up whois and start this. Whois heat.net. Okay. That's the first thing we run when you're given a domain name. Scrolling down, you can see first the registrar information. So what is required? What's the second name server listed for the domain name? The second name server is easily found here. Let's see. Name server. Got two name servers. What IP address was the domain listed on as of December 2011? Okay, you go back here. IP history. Another example is heat.net. And for heat.net, we can see only 3 IP addresses throughout these years. Back to the question, December 2011, this is the IP address. Based on domains that share the same IP, what kind of hosting service is the domain owner using? So to find out the type of hosting that the domain name might be using, we're gonna go to reverse IP lookup and look up this IP address. There are 0 domains hosted on the server. Wow. Let's go back to heat.net. So back to the question. Based on the domains that share the same IP. Well, as of now, no IPs share the same domain. No domains share the same IP address, because due to the fact there might be some changes regarding the hosting company. By the time of answering this question, it was shared. On what date was the site first captured by the Internet Archive? All right, now we go to the Wayback machine and we run another search. This time we're going to run heat.net. Right, we can see heat.net was captured throughout many years. So if you go back in time, we can see it was first captured in 1997. To be accurate, if you click on June 1, it is actually the first date where Wayback Machine was able to capture the first snapshot of the site. So June 1, 1997. What is the first sentence of the first paragraph or the first body paragraph from the final capture of 2011? If we check out 2011, the final capture happens to be in October. We're going to click on this. Nope, 2001, not 11. So if we check 2011, and we've got several snapshots. We're gonna have a look at the last one. That's correct. The last one in June 28. So here we get to see the appearance of the site at 2011. So it is a gaming site. Select a game, judging by the button here, and we can see it starts with, after years of great online gaming, it's time to say goodbye. Heat will be shutting its doors at the end of this month. It's a sad occasion for us. Right, so that's the answer. Using your research or using your search engine skills, what was the name of the company that was responsible for the original version of the site? So that's the original version of the site. who was operating the site, or what was the company responsible for maintaining the site. It is Sega.com. What of course the answer has to be Sega Soft. So to be able to conform to this answer, you're gonna have to type heat.net, and we can say games online. So the Wikipedia says it's Sega Soft. Heat.net hosted both Sega published first and second party games. So Sega Soft is the company that was operating the site. Okay, next. What does the first header on the site on the last capture of 2010 say? Okay, so that was the capture on 2001. If you go to 2010, for example, how the website looked like at this time or this year, you're gonna check out 30 December, and we'll be seeing totally different site. The site changed. What does the first header on the site on the last capture of 2010 say? That's the header, or that's what the header is saying. Task 6, taking a peer under the hood of the site. Now we're gonna need to find out what is this site about. How many internal links are in the text of the article? Okay, so now we're gonna ditch the Wayback Machine and have a look at the original site or the website in the current present. And we're going to specifically investigate this article. Need to hire a commercial contractor. By looking at the site, we can see there are several links. Some of these links are internal and some of them will turn up to be external. How are we going to find out? We're going to just hover over the link and look at the bottom of the screen on the left. You can see that the link points to the same domain name, heat.net. Another one, the anchor text, heating contractor, points to the same domain name, so it is an internal link. Links that point to the same domain name but to a totally different page than the current page, they are called internal links. And internal links are actually one of the required things to do if you are doing SEO for your site. This one is also internal, but this one, check around for the best deals. It is pointing to a totally different domain, and that's why it's called external link. Now, with respect to heat.net, this is called external link. If we visit the actual link, the link actually points to this domain name, purchase.org. Now what we say that purchase.org has a backlink in heat.net. That's a backlink with respect to purchase, but it's an external link with respect to heat.net. That's a difference that we can realize if you are booking as an SEO or in the SEO. So go back to here. How many internal links? There were 5. External, there were 1. Website in the articles, only external link. We already revealed this. Try to find the Google Analytics code link to the site. Okay, so we go to another aspect of the OSINT. Another aspect of the open source intelligence is extracting analytical information or technical information about the web page. This technical information can be the Google Analytics code, the Google AdSense code, maybe other code snippets that would point to other websites that the owners might be using for tracking KPIs or key performance indicators. So I'm going to right click and view page source. Now, to find out if the site is using Google Analytics, we're going to click on Control F and look up UA. So why UA? Because UA, it is the prefix of the Google Analytics property, the code of the property. That's how it starts with UA. Alternatively, if you're not expert in Google Analytics, you can just search with analytics. So indeed there is Google Analytics, but at this line it doesn't reveal the code. So we're gonna have another look, and at line 57 we can see it is revealed. Try to find this. We found it. Is the Google Analytics code in use on another site? And does the link to this website have any obvious affiliate codes embedded with it? So we're gonna first start answering this. Does the link to this website, meaning purchase, have any obvious affiliate codes embedded with it? Affiliate codes are codes that are used to track the clicks on the link. Usually affiliate marketers use it, okay, when they have a deal with another company. So company B wants to track the clicks coming from, say, he.net. In our example, purchase, okay, let's say purchase wants to track the clicks coming from this anchor text found on he.net. So they would come and say, okay, you can embed purchase org, but you can add something to it like tracks or ID equal US21. That's an example. If you see a link with such parameters, and when you open it, it leads to the landing page of the domain name. This is probably because these are called tracking parameters. They are usually used to track the clicks on this anchor text. Okay, they want to see how many clicks coming from this site. Okay, so that is what is tracking the affiliate tracking codes. But in the current scenario, if you hover over here on the bottom of the screen on the left, again you can see it's only saying purchase.org. There are no affiliate codes. So the answer here is nay. Is the Google Analytics code in use on another website? Yay or nay? So it is nay. How are you gonna find out? You're just gonna go back. This is the Google Analytics code. What you can do, you can Google it, okay, or you can use a website found in the hint. It is nerdy data. So if you go to the site, it will allow you to have a sneak peek on the technologies used by other websites. If you have a specific query, you can go to try it for free, and you can look up the technology, meaning the what are the say the hosting. What's the hosting the company is using? What is the content management system? Are there any tracking codes in the source code? So on and so forth. So here we can paste. Let me close this one. We can paste the analytics code. Now you begin the search. You can see there is only one website using this tracking code. We're going to view the result, and there is only one site. What does that mean? It means there are no other sites using the same tracking code. Okay, final exam, connect the dots. Okay, experienced OSINT researchers. Okay, without reading this, the question here is asking us to find the relationship between purchase and heat.net. Why would heat.net create a backlink for purchase? What's the relationship? Now, obviously, the relationship could be commercial, meaning that purchase.org has contacted he.net and asked them, can you maybe put a backlink for our website, okay, in exchange for a set price? It could be the case, but in this case, because there were no tracking codes in the domain name, the assumption here is that purchase.org owns he.net. He.net is actually, or is simply, a blog managed by purchase.org as a PBN, or private blog network, or as part of private blog network. A private blog network is a collection of blogs or websites with many articles. okay, and they point to the same domain name. They have backlinks in these articles that point to the same domain name. So we say that purchase.org has PBNs to increase its ranking in search engine. This is a black hat technique, and it is frowned upon by search engines, specifically Google, but still many people use it. Back here. So we were in this, so we were at this article, I guess. No. Yeah, so we go back to need to hire a commercial contractor. Back with this link. If you want to investigate more about the relationship, we're gonna have to use view DNS. Why is though? If we look up heat.net here in the IP history, let's run a new search. Okay, so the IP address owner, it is Liquid Web. Now, if we look up purchase, scrolling down, you can see in 2012 and 13, the owner was the same, Liquid Web, and the IP address was the same. And given that there was a link between the two, we can safely assume that purchase owns heat.net as a private blog, or as blog that's part of a private blog network, and this is a practice, or this is a backlink to increase the chances of purchase.org ranking higher in search engines. That's the conclusion we can get to. And the owner is Liquid Web. Debriefing. This is the key takeaways of this challenge and wrap up. So guys, that was it.